Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda. One of the wonderful things I'm seeing happening across the Church of Jesus Christ at the moment is loads of people are getting baptized in water. The reason, of course, is that during the last 16 months, there's been very limited opportunities for churches to meet together and for them to practice water baptism. However, the gospel has still been proclaimed, whether it's through online services or whatever else. And so there actually have been considerable numbers of people coming to faith in Jesus Christ that have not had the opportunity to receive water baptism. And so what I'm seeing every Monday morning now on Facebook, I'm seeing numerous posts from my friends in churches right across Ireland sharing about the baptism services they've had the day before. In our own church, Solid Rock, Drogheda, we are having water baptisms every Sunday for the foreseeable future. So we're having water baptisms every single Sunday in between our 10 o'clock and our 12 o'clock services, which is so exciting because there's something special about baptisms. Now, it's not always convenient and it's not always easy to baptize people by immersion. I remember meeting with believers in Eastern Europe who would tell me that during the days of communist rule, whenever they were not allowed legally to baptize people or even to meet together as a church, they used to go into the forest, and sometimes they would build a dam across a stream and build it up to a point where it would form a pool deep enough to baptize people in. And that way, they were able to evade soldiers who were hunting for them and looking, for example, at where there already were existing pools. So they literally built a baptism pool in one night and baptized people in it. I remember when I was on staff in a Pentecostal church in the north of England, I can remember some weird events to do with baptism. One time we'd just constructed a new church and the opening service was going to be a baptismal service. Unfortunately, the construction team was running a little behind schedule and had only grouted between the tiles in the baptism tank the night before. Well, as we filled that tank up with water, I tell you what, by the time we got to baptisms, everyone comes in, we take the cover off the tank, and it looks like there is milk in it rather than water. I remember another occasion at that same church where we had a new guy who was filling up the baptism tank for us, and he said, "Don't worry, Pastor, I'm going to make sure that it's not too cold. I'm going to put a bit of hot water in it." I said, "That sounds great." Well, you know what? That night when we got into the water to baptize people, it was not just warm, it was hot. I mean, it was so hot that if I got into a bath that was that hot, I would immediately jump out and run cold water in it. But of course, we're in a baptism service. There's crowds of people there. There's 20 people waiting to be baptized. So we went ahead. Each person, when they get into that water, they're going like, oh, because, you know, like when you get into a really hot bath. And the thing was, myself and the other pastor that were baptizing everybody, because there's like over 20 people getting baptized, we're in that water for over half an hour. And when we came, I remember looking at the photographs afterwards and our faces just getting more and more and more red. I ended up being sick and having to take a week off work as a result. I remember another occasion in Drogheda when we were baptizing several people, and we had a little tank set upside a house, and it was so cold we had to break the ice to get into that tank. And my friend Tim that was working with me, my colleague, he was baptizing together with me, and he had got this great idea of putting on this waterproof jumpsuit and rubber boots and taping everything else up with duct tape. And he was confident that this would keep him warm and dry in the icy water. Unfortunately, he sprung a leak. And afterwards, when we got out of the tank, I was able to very quickly to get a towel, get a change of clothes, get sorted. And there's Tim still trying to take the duct tape off his boots. And meanwhile, he'd lost all feeling in his foot because it filled up full of icy water. So the reason I'm sharing these stories is because baptism is not always convenient. And it's a fitting symbol of following Jesus, because following Jesus is not always convenient. Following Jesus involves sacrifices. Following Jesus doesn't always work the way we thought it was going to work out, but it is the pathway of obedience, and it is the pathway of blessing. And so today I rejoice with all those believers across the country who are now taking the opportunity to get baptized in water. And I just pray for you today, because baptism, one of the great things about baptism is it is a public declaration of our faith, but it's also a statement that we are not for turning back. We're not going back to the old life anymore. And I pray that today, as you continue in your new life with Jesus Christ, you will never be tempted to return to that old life ever again. May God bless you in Jesus' name. May he use you today, and join us again next time for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.